Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the what is this? The sixth episode of the Model Car Enthusiast Podcast. Thank you all for dropping in and listening. We've got the usual some of the usual knuckleheads on with us, and we got a couple of guests. We got we brought Robert Jutson back. Old Soft J is with us again, and but we have Randy Durr. I think some of you may know who he is. You could probably Google that. And then we've got Mike Resin Garrett. He is someone who's just plowing through the up the Detroit area and around Ohio, all the way down there, going to the shows and just beating everybody. So if you don't know Mike, you've seen his models on the Facebook. I can tell you that. And we'll go ahead and we're going to let everybody just kind of say who they are, but just to let you know that this episode we're going to talk about not about the Greater Salt Lake show, but what are the possibilities of having a show like that? Or is that something I'm going to let? This was Irv's idea, Irvin, and we just lost Irv. He's back. Okay, he's traveling. He's traveling up in Pennsylvania right now, going back home from his holiday. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. And why don't we just go ahead and let everybody? We'll start with Soft J here and go around the clock, and then Irv. After everybody introduced themselves, why don't you talk about the whole subject that we're going to discuss today? Because it was your idea, bud. Go ahead, Robert.
All right, my name is Robert, and I am the Questionable Scale Modeler on YouTube.
Mike?
I'm Mike. They call me Resin. I'm really not anybody. I just like to go to shows and show off my cars and look at other people's cars.
And Randy?
Randy Durr, model builder for a few years back now, and get around to most of the shows here in the Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan area, and some of the other ones around the country as well.
We'll go down to you, Irv. Are you there? Well, Tim?
He's traveling so fast he can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Irv, hear us? He doesn't hear us.
He doesn't hear. You don't hear us, Irv?
He's trying to.
Yeah, he'll come back. Yeah, he's losing. I could see he's losing. He's losing Wi-Fi. He'll be back. But Tim, how about you? Who are you, Tim?
I'm Tim from Throttle Power, and I'm helping Irv look for a Buc-ee's to stop at right now. And I think Irv stopped at
Buc-ee's. And Mr. Hobby Dude.
Hey, Mark Batson, Hobby Dude 007 on Facebook and YouTube.
Excellent. Hey, and Irv, are you hearing us now? Are you all connected? You're getting some bad Wi-Fi, bud. We got Irvin from the Arterake. But he's
rather judgmental.
Yeah, he's probably going through the mountains or the back country of Pennsylvania or something, heading back south. But he'll probably be coming back. But anyways, I'll try to kind of explain what we wanted to go talk about here with Salt Lake, the Greater Salt Lake Model Car. What would that be called now? That used to be the Greater Salt Lake Model Car Championship, correct, Randy? And then
I think it was convention, actually.
Convention.
Yes.
International.
International. It's had a few different names throughout the years. Greater Salt Lake Model Car Convention, I believe. I can go check the paperwork for an official one, but that's pretty close.
But yeah, everybody pretty much knew it as just GSL.
GSL.
And that was the show that really the best of the best throughout the country would all get together and have heavy competition, friendly competition, mind you. And it always got a lot of publication in the magazine, especially Scale Auto Enthusiast, really that's where it really got known, is in there, and just the most inspirational, greatest modelers and models would show up. Model cars would show up. Just a model car show. And it was a huge inspiration for many of us. I unfortunately never made it to one. Always wanted to. It was a dream. And it was kind of connected because Mark Gustafson, who put it on, also started the International Automotive Modelers. I'll destroy that too. Which is, let's put this right up here. There it is. The International Model Car Builders Museum.
Yes.
Was for many years, since like the mid 80s, was there in Salt Lake. Mark was the curator. So the museum and the show always kind of went hand in hand in my mind. It was like, that was a part of going to the Salt Lake show, why I always wanted to go. I always wanted to check out that museum. And since then, the museum has been moved. It's now in Lincoln, Nebraska, at the, right there it says, at the Speedway Motors Museum of American Speed. And we've had some scouts already show up there. Resin Garrett, he's been there. He'll talk a little bit about that. He's checked it out and might have a little bit of news for us. But what we want to talk about is especially like having Randy here, being you've been a multi Best of Show winner, Randy, and you were the last Best of Show winner.
Correct. Yes. Thank you.
And I know that you have, with what we're talking about today, you have some good insider or points of view on it. But what we wanted to see and is how everybody feels is it possible to ever have a show at that level again, a contest, something where people can really work towards putting their best efforts into going there and competing and trying to win an award at Salt Lake? It was always so prestigious for one of us modelers to actually win there, or at least get into the magazine being at the show. And just, it would be really great. A lot of us feel like we really do need to still have something like that. So I'm going to start with Robert. We're going to again go around the clock here. And Robert, what are your thoughts in it?
Well, I've only been back in the hobby for about 8 or 9 years, so I'm still kind of new at that level of competition. I do go to shows every year, but I'm kind of looking forward to doing that kind of stuff. I haven't been to those kind of shows other than like IPMS Nationals, where we're kind of considered more of a second-rate genre.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But the cool thing is you're pretty close. You're, out of all of us, you're the closest
Yeah,
to
probably.
where the museum is now, which that's going to be a part of the discussion here shortly, where it's kind of you're kind of in a neat position.
Yeah, I would definitely like to go to. I'd like to go to shows where some of the big hitters, like Randy and uh, you know, some of the other guys have, and bring their stuff, because I'd like to know how I stack up against it. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
because
always a fun thing.
I have a competitive nature to me. I do prefer the those type of shows as opposed to like the gold, silver, bronze. Because when it boils down to, we all want the big shiny trophy at the end of the day. Well, at least I do.
Yeah. Well, Mike, you've never been to the Salt Lake show. I know you were saying that you always wanted to go to it, but you're pretty competitive and you kind of knock it out of the park going to a lot of the shows in that part of the country. I guess what would that be, the Midwest? You
Yeah.
pretty much conquer the Midwest.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. You bring some hardware home, bud, and you got some cool subjects. So, But what are your thoughts on it?
As you said, that's something I always wanted to do, and now that I'm in a position where I could do it, I can't. So I would love to see something take its place. And the venue where the museum is now is really an incredible place. I think it would be a fantastic place to, to do something like that again, because there would not only be the models on display, and there's so much more. I mean, I was there for an entire day,
Yeah.
and I could have spent at least another entire day there.
Yeah, this picture here you sent me, this was taken by someone who went after you, though, right?
Right. Steve Perry was there a couple weeks after I was. When I was there, they were actually still setting it up. A lot of it was set up, but there was still a lot more they were working on.
Yeah,
Uh,
this
that
was
was that was a couple weeks after I was there, and Steve Perry had taken that picture.
Wow.
yeah, and here they were unpacking. They had all these great old awards, and I mean they're definitely laying it all out. It's just stuff from our hobbies past. And
And
here's something I really like. This is neat. I'm glad to see that they got a couple of David Lord's original box artwork. Man, that's some of my favorite box art personally, and it's cool they got stuff like that too. So there's a ton of stuff there. But you were there, and you had a conversation with somebody about from one of the local clubs that they're talking about doing something.
yeah, he had mentioned that there was a possibility of a model show there that they had approached the club. I believe is the way it worked out, about the possibility of putting on a model show there. And the last I had heard from it, there was a meeting scheduled sometime early next year to discuss the possibility of doing a show there. I mean, that's not a lot to go on, but at least it's being thought about.
Yeah, that's cool. That'd be interesting if they if they can really put it on and grow it, and it's got to be done right. That's the thing. But
The
my
judging,
person, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you going to
Yeah,
say?
judging from the museum itself, if that museum puts on a model show, it will be first rate. It'll be first class.
Yeah,
They'll do
that's
it
what it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I just, the like what I said earlier, and this is just my personal way of thinking. I think a lot of people feel this way. It just seems like a show at that level, kind of, well, the GSL went hand in hand with the museum, and it would be really cool to still keep those together. And like everybody knows, Omaha, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska are really smack dab right in the center of the country. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's in the middle of nowhere, I guess, Robert, you saying that there might be a problem with lodging, but, you know, we can make it work. It just seems like that would be the place that it would be a great place to put on a show and grow it to be that level again. But Randy, I know you know a lot about it. What are your thinking on that?
Well, I certainly agree with Mike's comments that museum there does everything first rate. And we were so fortunate to have secured them as the home for the International Model Car Builders Museum collection, because now it is, as you point out, centrally located in the country. It's in a beautiful facility that's visited by thousands of people every year already. They've uh, they've committed a huge amount of floor space to this point already. And when I was there at the end of September, we were also discussing already expanding, because
Really?
besides what was moved from Utah about the middle of May, there's been additions been added to the collection since then. I myself took out 150 some models from builders here in the Ohio area to add to the collection. Denny Johnson's collection, the inventor of the zingers from the
Oh
old,
yeah,
the MPC contests of the 70s.
yeah.
So I took out big portion of his collection that he donated.
Yeah, got it
Took
right
out,
over. Looks like it's over there in the corner of this picture.
yep, some of them there, and there are also some back in the far corner of that photo as well. His has kind of been split up, zingers versus some of his other models.
Oh, okay.
And you showed the picture of Bill Coulter's models; those are there now. I took some of
Yeah,
his out with
those
me,
right
and
there. Yeah.
yep. And as you can see, the signage still needs some work, and that is what they're working on at the museum, is to get permanent, proper signage for everything.
Yeah.
But this collection will just continue to grow at that facility. And we don't have specifics yet, but I can assure you there's a lot of discussion about having a grand opening and a model show, probably more like an NNL type event, in conjunction with the grand opening sometime in 2026. So stay tuned for more on that. I think that would be a wonderful event for all of us.
That would be. That would be.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you'd have the NNL show to enjoy, the debut of the model collection to enjoy, and then just the entire rest of the museum, which it literally could take you several days to see everything in there. Uh, Prior to the model car acquisition, they had just acquired the Unser collection, which is the
Oh, good
accumulation
grief.
of Bobby Unser, Al Jr., Jerry Unser, all that family, race cars, memorabilia, trophies, Indy 500 rings. It's just an amazing collection of nostalgia there. So I would encourage anybody to get out there and take a look around the museum. But I think we could have a great event there. Now, back to your specific question about an adjudicated contest type show. I don't think the question is really, do we need one or could we support one from a builder perspective? I think those are givens. The big question really becomes, can you find a group of people willing to commit to organizing and making an event like that happen? Because I know Mark and his team, they would put in countless hours preparing for that, working the event, judging the event, making everything happen according to plan, and they pulled it off very, very well all those years. And so that really becomes the key in my mind: is there an individual and or a club, a group of individuals that's willing to step up and take on that kind of task and have the resources to make it happen, because
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time and it takes quite a bit of money to make an event like that happen and be successful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely would take a very dedicated crew to do it. It's a
Yes,
lot of hard work. That's the
yes,
tough part of it.
right. So I think we as the builders would readily support something like that. As Robert pointed out, there's still enough of us with a competitive urge there to go out and see how we stack up. And so I think you'd have plenty of participants. It's now a question of who are the right people to make it happen, and are they interested in making it happen, and are they capable of pulling it off at whatever location is decided upon.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, there's still so many other great locations and great clubs that could possibly do it. So I'm sure it would work wherever it takes place. That's just been my thing of keeping it near the museum. But like
Right.
Tim and I had some conversations about this, and he had some cool ideas and whatnot. What are your thoughts in it, Tim?
Well, the thing I liked most about the GSL was it was multiple days, which gave
Yes.
you plenty of
Yeah,
time to hang
Yes.
out with everyone. And then the other thing that was really neat, the room where the model contest was open till like 9 or 10 o'clock each night, which was
Hmm.
really cool. You can go in there after dinner, enjoy yourself. There wasn't a bunch of people. You could really look at everything, which was really neat. So it opened up the whole weekend. I was there for almost a week actually. It opened up the whole week. The thoughts I had, well, I haven't been obviously to the new museum where it's at. I've tried numerous weeks to go, and you know that, Matt.
yeah,
I tried
It's
about
just
5 weekends in a row to go to the museum before this podcast. And first I learned that there better not be a Nebraska football game going on.
Oh,
When I did that and started calling the hotels by it, when there wasn't a Nebraska football game, the hotels were still sold out or charging an elaborate amount of money, like $300 a night. I finally said, "Well, why? There's no Nebraska football going on. What's going on?" It'd be Nebraska volleyball or something else.
oh yeah.
It's, I could never get there before this podcast to give an honest say on how I feel about it, and I wanted to go so bad, but I guess I would have to ask Mike and Randy, is there an airport close by to that museum? Because I know a lot of people from all over the world went to GSL, flew in, and then were able to take a tram that only cost about $1 from the
Right.
hotel to GSL, and that's what I did, and it worked
Right.
out
Same here.
really good.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Then I was talking to Matt. I said something about, like have it here where Wonderfest is in Louisville, where people come up from all over the world,
yeah.
because the airport is basically right across the street, or the highway, I should say, and there's a free tram or a free shuttle bus that runs you back and forth to the hotels. So I don't know the layout of GSL, but how close is the airport for people to go?
I'm not sure either, Tim, because I ended up driving out because I had to deliver all those models.
Right.
But you raise an excellent point that one of the keys to a successful international contest is accessibility to local transportation and accessibility to an international airport where people can get in and out at a reasonable price, have lodging nearby. Uh, Many people stayed at the host hotel for GSL. They had a great rate, but not everybody. And every year I went out to GSL, I never rented a car. It was
Right.
always, I used the hotel shuttle bus, I used the tram, which was put in for the Olympics. And you're right, that was just a few bucks and it was superb. And so they had the public transportation to get you to and from places. With it being downtown, you could walk to a lot of different restaurants in the evening. And so those are all aspects. Anybody that's put on an event, those are the aspects that you have to consider over and above the event itself. And those almost become bigger priorities than some of the other things you think about.
Right.
Yeah, true. That's very true.
So it may make sense for any future contest to maybe be at MAS, maybe not. Maybe it belongs in a larger metropolitan area with better access and better facilities from a lodging and restaurant perspective.
Definitely. 'Cause that's all stuff that has to be looked at if you're going to be putting on an event like that and growing it and wanting to have the people come. Definitely
Correct.
have to have the access and everything.
Yes.
That's for sure.
But to answer your question, Matt, I do think there can be another GSL in the future, and actually, I hope there is another one. I was only able to go to the very last one. Tom Nungester from Indianapolis, that I kind of grew up with, has been to numerous GSLs, and every other year, because it was an every other year show, Tom would say, "You want to go with me this year? I'm going to him." And something would always come up, or I didn't have the money or whatever, and I never went. And and finally, I decided to go to the very last one because it was the last one. And then I started kicking myself ever since for turning Tom down. I wish I would have went to all of them that Tom went to, because it was so
Yeah.
fun. But a multi-day show, just a great time. I do hope there is another one, and I think there can be another one.
And you bring up an excellent point about the multi-day show. That was a unique aspect of GSL, and I think that really made a big difference in it. And because you only went to the last one, you also missed in previous years' events. They had several days of seminars,
Yes.
and those
Yes.
were superb. The one time I went out, I just immersed myself. I went to every seminar, took the tour to the museum, took in the contest room multiple times, and just wallowed in all the model car stuff that whole weekend.
Oh, Randy, I heard all about it from Tom. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah,
So,
I had always heard those stories about it. It was a lot of the guys in my local club here in Phoenix used to go to it because we're like it's a 16-hour drive, but it's pretty accessible to Phoenix.
yeah, yeah.
So a lot of the guys used to go. So I used to always hear the stories. We also had a lot of guys in our club here that were people that won up there and would win. Especially we had one person who was a couple years took best paint, which is
Not,
quite an achievement that show. So, and
yeah.
this was back in like the late '80s, early '90s. But Mark, did you ever get to go to it? And what's your thoughts of?
No, I did not. The last two GSLs, I had made plans. I'd already gotten online and studied the rules. I actually talked to Mark Gustafson on the phone once, and it was a great conversation. What an awesome guy. We just had a great time. I had planned on it two times, but the things of life that came up
Mm-hmm.
that just kind of put the skids on it. But as Mike was saying, now that I'm retired, I can't go now,
Yeah.
well, I could, but that's gone away, and that's understandable. Uh, but I don't want to say is there a need for it, um, but I would like to, as Tim was saying, I would like to see another one of that caliber again. I feel like through the magazine coverage and some of the other coverages and people talking about how the show was, and I agree 100% on multi-day shows. When we go to Acme, most guys get there on Thursdays. They fellowship. Friday night is always great. Saturday after the show, but to be able to, as Randy was saying, take in some stuff like, especially those the seminars. I remember going to IPMS Nationals and going to airbrush seminars, all kinds of different things. Even though I've been airbrushing for 40 years, hey, I'm never too old. As Abraham Lincoln said, I never cared for a man that didn't learn something new every day. Hey, I'm never too old to learn, and
No.
I've been building for 65 years, and this is still a learning experience and fun. And at these shows, that's where I get a lot of it, the inspiration by seeing and talking to Randy. I know in Atlanta, when you brought that Corvette down there, I think everybody was in awe of that thing, Randy.
Thank you.
But I learned so much by just looking at the model and so many others, as well as talking to Randy. That sharing, that fellowship, and it's just. I hope we can do another show like that. But I also know from being part of putting on shows that it is a tremendous amount of work. And something I didn't consider was what Tim brought up about the international accessibility, like the airports, things like that. Yeah, those things are things that you need to think about and study on. Um, and it will be an undertaking, and all like most shows are anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
it's I agree with about everything everybody says. It's kind of hard to be the last one too. But it's I think we I would welcome it. Let's put it that way. But it is a lot of work and expense,
Yeah,
as
it
mentioned.
is. It is a lot in this day and age. That's probably the biggest thing now that prevents a lot of shows to be created in this these days. Now, the expense of doing it. I I was involved in creating a couple of shows that I would say went kind of intermediate. They were big regional shows, but never something that got really huge. Um, and there was a lot of work and money and a lot of stress. And I don't think I have it in me to ever like do a show ever again. I kind of stay away from it. I've thought about trying to get something started here in Phoenix, but I'm like, I've been down that road too many times. I've seen that movie. I don't want to go sit in the theater again. So
Let
I
me let me add this. This is going to be kind of goofy, but as Randy was saying, was it you, Randy, that mentioned that they were thinking about hosting a show there at the museum or at the?
Yes, that's being discussed every time the advisory board meets. We're talking about that, trying to get something pulled together for a grand opening next year.
That'd be really cool.
Awesome. Well, to that end, I already Googled how many miles it is from my house to there. 1,110
I did
miles.
too.
Man,
Yeah,
I did that back when they moved the museum there. I did that just for Sniggelson.
It's closer than Salt Lake City.
It's
It is a
for you
whole lot.
guys, yeah, definitely.
And of course, for about 16 years, I used to drive from South Carolina to Toledo every year to go
Yeah,
to the show. So, hey, um,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of fun. I would welcome a show of that caliber again.
Yeah,
Big time.
definitely. That would be cool.
so what local clubs out there is talking about this kind of stuff? Any any ideas?
Mike, you talked to one of the club members, didn't you?
Yeah, actually, I didn't get the name of the club, but there was the local club that put on the show in Bellevue.
Okay, that's
Uh,
Nebraska in miniature, I think.
it might be, yeah, it might be.
Um,
But
yeah,
I talked to one of the members there at the show, and just kind of in passing, we were talking about the museum, and he had mentioned that there's a possibility that next year there might be a model show there, and that's really about as far as it went.
It's really
And then
encouraging.
yeah, I actually emailed one of the members and to see if there was any more information on it, and what I got back was that they're supposed to talk about it at a meeting, early next year. So that's really not a lot to go on, but it's something to go on.
because I may reach out to them, being that I am less than 5 hours from there, that I could get in on uh, their team to help volunteer. So
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
takes. It
'cause I wouldn't
takes
mind being part of that.
yeah, that
yeah.
would be exciting to be part of something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I up until now I hadn't considered what Tim was saying about accessibility to the venue, and I really don't know the answer to what it's like around there as far as airports and things. But I do know that the museum itself would just be an awesome location
Yeah,
because there's not just the models there. You've got the whole museum. It's an incredible place.
Yeah.
there is an airport about maybe a mile or two from the venue, but looking at Google, I can't tell if it's a commercial airport or not.
Hmm.
So it's not a
Yeah.
very
See,
big one. But Omaha's not that far. You're talking maybe 30 to 40 minutes.
Well, I stayed when I was out there. We stayed in Bellevue, and it took us roughly an hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour, to get to the museum.
Okay.
So that's really not that far, I don't think. But never having been to one of the GSLs before, was it really a big international event? Were there a lot of people that came from far away? That would
It
make it
was,
even better. I
Yeah.
didn't
yeah,
realize that.
it was definitely an
Yeah.
international event. There was typically a contingent from Puerto Rico there.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
there were people that would come from England, from Australia, Germany, Canada, of course. Always a big contingent of Canadian builders. So it lived up to the international name. Obviously, the bulk of the participants were North American based,
Hmm.
but no, it had a regular attendance by international builders.
That's
That's not
incredible.
yeah. Well, it seems
awesome.
like there definitely should be something of an event that takes place at that museum, but it might not be the place for what we're talking about,
Right.
unfortunately. Like what you were saying, Rand, you said the discussion of that museum is more of an NNL that they're
At this
thinking.
point, yeah,
Yeah,
just to keep it simple for the first event,
yeah,
and the focus is really on the unveiling of the model car exhibit, the opening of the model car exhibit, and the focus on that. But since you'll have obviously a bunch of model builders there to enjoy that, it would make sense to have them bring along models and fill up a room full of tables with their work. And
yeah,
but more of an NNL just because of the logistics and the fact that we want to focus on the grand opening more than anything else for that first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. That's still,
Yeah.
that would be just a wonderful event in our hobby to have if it became a yearly thing or even a bi-yearly
Yeah,
thing. That would be really great. An opportunity
right.
to be able to go to something and especially for like I would take a trip there to just go to the museum. I'd be more it would be better for me, or it just seemed like for the money that it cost and the time that it would cost, it'd be nice if there's something going on, and then I get to see a bunch of friends too, instead
Right.
of just go there for the museum. So that would be really
Right.
great if something was going on there.
Agreed. Agreed.
Well, to see the history of our hobby too, absolutely,
Yes,
and then
definitely.
share that with each other. Yeah,
Yeah, how
Yes.
that sounds like a really fun event. Might not be something that would be at what the GSL level was, but um, that can always be done. Probably like what Tim was saying. Maybe Tim can talk somebody over there in Louisville, get that place that they do
Wonderful.
Wonderfest, because that is a heck of an event. I hope to be able to go one day. It's one of my on the list events. Just Tim talks about it all the time and tells me there's you go to a class on Friday, don't you, Tim? That's just all about airbrushing and stuff, and it goes from there. And they have wonderful uh, things like that going on off the
And they have
side and just
seminars all weekend too.
yeah, seminars and all that stuff. So I think
Snake.
you're gonna for it to become something like an international an international contest competition at that kind of level. It needs to be multiple day. It needs to be easy access, and it needs to have other things going on like seminars and stuff.
Right.
And that
Which,
is it.
yeah, that really makes it a convention more than
Yeah.
just a
Right.
model
Yeah.
meet or a contest.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be a convention, and
Correct.
boy, it'd be really cool if somebody takes that on, because I do think I definitely think personally that it's something that has always been really important in our hobby. I mean, for me and a lot of the people I've known for years, good friends in this hobby, GSL has always been that uh, guiding light that we all look at. And this was something that kind of the discussion that Irvin and I had of coming up with wanting to do this podcast was, and he has mentioned it in other podcasts we had in the past, is it's almost like Salt Lake was what you turn to kind of set the bar for whatever what the classes were, what the rules were. Like when we were discussing just box stock, Irvin kept referring to how Salt Lake set up the class for just box stock,
Mhm.
and kind of it set the standard in making rules for shows. I know when I created rules for the shows that I put on years ago, I kind of followed what came from the Greater Salt Lake show, because I mean it was the standard. It really became the standard, and for that to, it's almost like that's where we kind of still need that in our hobby, for kind of keeping all the other competitive shows kind of in line. It'd be nice if maybe start working towards all the shows kind of have consistent rules and everything. You're not surprised when you go to the next show. It was good at that show, but I can't be in that class in this show. Um, it would be really cool to standardize that, but it did seem to be something that everybody followed. It's like they set the bar, and all the other shows that came after it, kind of would want to try to be as good, or at least take something from it to make their show relevant and good, and people want to keep coming back to it. But we're kind of like we don't have the big Super Bowl anymore, and we need our Super Bowl.
Well, those guys in Bellevue, they've got a really good breakdown of categories. I
Yeah,
think it's a really good setup. So, if it's definitely a good place to start if that's who's doing it.
yeah, yeah, and that definitely it's going to take a club with some strong individuals, people that really want to want to get involved, and that's the hardest part is trying to, it's almost like a job all year round when you're putting on a big show like
Yes, it
that.
is.
It is a
Yeah,
job.
absolutely. Yep. Yeah,
And
there's a
Rattle,
lot of prep work that goes on behind the scenes that you don't even realize. All the negotiation with the
Hmm.
venue for room prices and space, and of course GSL had the awards brunch, which
Yep.
added a whole nother level of complexity to the prep. You have all the registration and documentation for your entrance. They also put on a trade show, which was a swap meet kind of, but more focused on new products than old kits. Of course, they had the seminars that we talked about, the tours. Besides touring to the Model Car Museum, they also had tours to local places of interest like Ken Diggett's shop. They would hold tours
Oh
to
yeah.
that and other places. So it takes a pretty good sized team of individuals dedicated to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just nice to have something like that for, that's what's so great about Acme is, everybody really likes to go to, you go to that, everybody's there. And
Right.
it's so neat to have a place where almost the whole community, model car building community, kind of conjoins together, and we all meet up and just have a great time together. That's what's been nice about how they've developed Acme. And it's, even though it's not really a multi-day show, it's kind of turned into a multi-day event, kind of
Yes.
organically created by the people that
Yeah.
go there, like
Correct.
with that museum that's over there and all that. I'm definitely planning on. I know so many people that are planning 26 is going to be the year they go to Acme. So it's almost like Acme's kind of the Southern Nationals is kind of the show now, but which not taking anything from it, because those guys do a great job. As a matter of fact, Fred isn't with us today because they had an important meeting after show. They're now starting to discuss things, so he had to go do that today. And so that crew of guys are really, um, I mean, they've been just killing it with that show. It's got, I went there in 21, and all I hear from all these guys is how much better it is than when I went, and I was just blown away by it. Just want to get back so bad. So to have that, and then have something that leans more towards the competitive nature of being, multi-class, first, second, and third in each class, the standard traditional competitive show. Always feel that there's definitely a place for that, and it it it's just it's so much fun too, and that's another place where so many modelers can go and get together and hang out and learn and get inspired.
Yeah. And it's interesting you point that out because when GSL first started, it was not that way.
Yeah.
It took on more the character of the old Revell Pactra and MPC contests, where builders held their techniques and their methods and their materials very close to their vest, and they didn't share those ideas
Right.
because that was part of their competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And what you observed happen with GSL over the years was the influence of the NNLs. And the NNLs were started just as a direct response to we don't want all that dynamic any longer in our model building. It's supposed to be
Hmm.
fun. We don't need that kind of pressure. We don't need that kind of those attitudes. And so over the years, all of us model builders have been to a lot more NNLs likely than we have to competitive contests. And so through the years, GSL became much more open and sharing and more of a reunion of builders getting together to renew friendships and to share ideas. And in the end, we've seen it. The quality of the models have just ramped straight up over the
Oh
last
yeah.
Straight up. Yeah.
30, 40 years. And it's because of the NNLs. If strictly judged contests had continued, I don't think we would have seen quite that level of growth.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way.
That's an good point. Good
very
point.
good point.
Yeah,
Very
I
good
agree.
point.
It's an observation that I've made just being a part of all those different events that things have changed, and it's you can give the credit to the NNL because it opened it up and turned it into just a more of a sharing type event.
Ah, that I never ever thought of it that way. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
The NNLs definitely were huge. I guess they were a huge part of creating what we have today, and it is so much better. I mean, I started going to model shows in the late '80s and then through the '90s, and I guess most of my experience has always been, you know, builders being a lot more open and wanting to share and I was really lucky my very first show meeting someone who I had recognized being in scale auto a lot and then him kind of taking me under his wing and teaching me things giving me great advice, you know, and the next year that I came out I even had a better model to put on the table and and I ended up that second show winning like best engine, which was one of my first awards and still one of my means so much to me, more so because of what was you know that it was Jim Bunch. I did a video interview with Jim and he was
Mhm.
such a big influence and so many other people that I've met over the years and I've always had nothing but um, good experience with and you know with everybody with other modelers but I knew a bunch of the older guys that were going to the shows before that and it seemed like you know in those first 10 years like you know the what Salt Lake's first show was at 79 or 80.
Somewhere in there, I believe. Yes. Yeah.
It seemed like everybody started lightening up towards the late 80s early 90s there, huh?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah
The
and it
transition was happening about that time. The hobby was experiencing a huge level of growth. A lot of us
yeah
builders, a lot of people coming back into the hobby after, raising their families, finding they got some time to dedicate to their hobby again, and the aftermarket growth also fed
oh boy yeah
into the growth of the hobby. And so, yeah, the '80s and '90s were certainly a huge period of growth because of all those factors, and the NNLs really allowed that to happen more freely because
yeah
of the openness and the lack of competition, really.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably good that from my experience when I first came into it, running into that type of attitude, because I might have not gotten so into this hobby if I would have gone to a show and kind of ran into that. I would have thought, you know, and it's funny. There's people. It kind of bums me out, and I know Tim and I talk about this. A lot of us we talk about this. Is there's such a kind of an attitude of there's these guys I don't go to shows because they think it's like that and it's like no go to a show try it out check it out you
Mhm.
meet all of us you find we're all you could ask any of us anything about our models
Right.
and we love talking about it and describing what we did and if someone's learning from it I mean that's why all of us do YouTube channels you know it's we want to share what we know and what we do and
Hmm.
it's really
Yes.
turned into that type of community and that's what's great about the shows whether it's an N and L it's nice that that attitude has filtered into the competitive shows that they're having that N and L so I never ever really realized that but that's kind of good to know thank you very much Randy for that I have never thought about that that's
Yep.
neat
You're very welcome. Well, and you sort of had to be there for that whole span,
yeah
and
yeah see I didn't
and
experience that
right. That's a lot of it was
yeah
to see that side of the hobby at one point in time.
Yeah, that's neat. I experienced it all from reading Scale Auto Enthusiast, which you know,
Yes.
that was my drive was that magazine. But
Oh, it supported a lot of us through the
oh
'80s
boy,
and '90s.
Sure did. It really
Yes.
did.
yeah. I don't know if we would have the hobby that we have today if it wasn't for Gary Schmidt and Scale Auto Enthusiast. I really don't.
Yeah, I would agree. They deserve a whole lot of credit as well to the growth of the hobby in that time period
Yeah, and it
because
was yeah,
there was no other way to get that information. They were the
right.
source
It
for
was it.
build techniques, materials, contests or shows, and just
Yeah,
all that was something that then you could access and grow from.
Yeah. And it was on scale of the kind of the back and forth when Mark started the GSL and
Yep,
it kind of happened on the pages of Scale Auto Enthusiast,
it
it
did.
did.
which
It
Yes,
did.
it did.
which is such a funny, neat story. I love hearing that story, and
Yeah, that's one
it,
of the best.
yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of tongue in cheek. Might have gotten a little heated, but it got things going, and yeah, that really is the creation of the NNLs. Uh, Definitely was something that advanced us so far, and
Yep,
being the community, and then with the new age coming of all the computers and us being able to always be in contact with one another, and posting pictures on the Facebooks, or before that the forums that used to be around, just getting on the internet and sharing everybody. It's like you said, Randy, that there has been such an explosion of the level of modeling today, where it was just like a few of you guys that did these spectacular models that would show up at the Greater Salt Lake show. But today there are so many more modelers that are all building at that level now.
On
yes.
that level.
Yeah, and it's so we have more people like that. That's
Yeah, at the most recent Acme show back in October, I don't know that there was a model on the table that wouldn't have been contest worthy of being a contest winner in the early to mid 80s.
yeah,
Everybody's
definitely.
building
Yes.
at that level now. Paint finishes are flawless. Detail is there. The aftermarket materials, the 3D printed parts, all of that has leveled out the playing field, so to speak, to make the scratch building skills maybe less important because now parts can be created in digital format and then printed. And so a person may not have these killer scratch building skills, but they can 3D print the part they need, and it has more detail than anybody could have done 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can become a whole nother show right there. There are some people that kind of
It
complain
can.
about that.
Yes, it
Um,
can.
And
but
Yeah.
I'm my thing about the 3D print and that kind of thing. What 3D print has brought to us is definitely little bits and pieces. Way I feel of things that even the best scratch building, you can never get it to look as accurate as getting it 3D printed. So that brings up levels. But I think I think the level of model buildings, everybody you still got to have um, a real high level of your art that you're doing your model building to. You can
Yeah.
take all those
correct,
pieces, but you definitely know how to put them together, and you got to know how to put them together and make them look good and everything. We
right.
have so many people that can do that, but yet there's still uh, I think scratch building is still a major part. um, there's
Well,
guys
the
like
joy in
you,
making it
Randy.
yourself, I
Yeah,
enjoy scratch building.
I love scratch
Because
building.
just
Agreed. Mhm.
there's a satisfaction, and part of what makes this hobby fun is the satisfaction of building something yourself. I love scratch building stuff, and it is a challenge to get it. Yeah, you could do it with 3D probably quicker and maybe even easier, but there's still nothing like doing it yourself. Not for me anyway.
Yep,
Yeah,
I
I
agree, Mark.
agree. I agree 100% with that. Yeah.
Yep,
yeah,
yep. And really, when it comes down to it, it's it's our hobby, and if
yeah,
that's the way we enjoy it, then great. That's the way we should enjoy it. And there's
Yep.
room for everybody. There's room for all skill levels, all genres of models, and all different techniques and methods. And we can
Well said.
all just
Well said.
enjoy it. Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
That's what I've always said is that's why it's such a great hobby is there's no wrong way to do it. You do it
No,
however it feels
yeah,
Yeah,
good to
that's
you.
true.
Yeah.
that's
Very
very, very
true.
yeah, that
true. Yep.
yeah, definitely. There's no wrong way of doing it. Well, guys, anybody want to put a last cap? You got anything to kind of want to touch this off with? All in all, we all kind of agree. Yeah,
Well,
we want
I
another one. There's definitely room for it.
yeah, I'll dive in first.
Okay.
There will be no replacing GSL.
There will
There
not.
may be shows that come along and do similar, do better, do worse. Don't know, can't say. But GSL was a unique event run by some very special people through the years, and I personally am just very happy that I was able to get out there as often as I could and enjoy that event while it was still around. And but I think there is room in this hobby for the NNL type shows and the adjudicated events as well. It's just a matter of finding the team of people to make each of those a reality. And so that's going to be what we'll have to wait and see who picks up the challenge that fills the void where GSL left off.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you're 100%
So,
right on that.
True.
Does everyone agree?
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, definitely. Let's. I think there will be maybe someone watching this will get inspired and go to their club and say, "We're the guys that do it." Who knows? But it'd be really neat, and I plan on being there if it happens because I missed out on the Salt Lake show and really regret it. Really regret it.
Me
So,
too.
boy,
There's
boy, I
a
would like to.
there's a lot of really good builders in the Midwest that do not go to those big shows. If you go to Madison and Omaha at the big shows there, you find them, and
Yeah.
they kind of sit back quietly and go to the local shows, but they don't. A lot of them don't travel like that.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's right, Robert. And you do have some pretty good sized cities in that area. You got Des Moines, Quad Cities. You've got Omaha.
Yeah,
You could pull together a pretty good sized regional event within that area.
right.
Yeah.
How do
And that,
these? How do shows of this, like the GSL, when they started out? How did they go about like predicting how big of a venue they would need?
That's a great question, and I have to think that they just kind of winged it. And events usually start out small and grow from there. And I remember a few times at GSL, the tables getting full, and they had to negotiate to open up another room, bring in more tables for more models. So as an organizer, you're faced with those challenges. On the flip side, if a year something happens and not as many people show up, you're kind of left holding the bag financially to still make ends meet from paying the bills without all the people attending. Now they did do advanced registration, and I think that's probably a key as well. Is do as much advanced registration as you can handle, and with the internet, that's a lot easier these days than it used to be when you had to do it by mail. And so that gives you a much better understanding of what to expect come the weekend of the contest.
mhm.
Right? Is there like? Does anybody ever do any like calls to some of these model groups in various parts of the country to kind of feel them out for their interest in something like that in advance?
I don't know of anything like that. It's more a matter of the local clubs getting motivated to want to host an event
Right.
and make that happen. When Mark attended the Toledo, and Mike did too, probably the Toledo NNL, the granddaddy of them all. And when that went away after 2019, there was a void there as well. It was not a
Yeah.
judged contest, but it was still a void. And so a group of us here in the Dayton area took that up this past year, and we hosted our first Dayton-based NNL. And so hopefully we can be able to continue to grow that event. It was the Gem City NNL, and we started out small, but we had 260 some models on the table and 40 tables of vendors. And so
Nice.
that's how these things usually start, is they start out small and grow from there.
Oh boy.
Nice.
That's right.
Well, that might have to
Might
be.
see me at the next one.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
might have to head to that one. When is that show?
We have aligned that with the Dayton Concours d'Elegance, which we also host a model exhibit there, and that's in the middle of September. It's the second Sunday after Labor Day is the Concours, and so it's usually about the middle weekend in September. And
Okay.
so we have the NNL on Saturday, and then the Concours exhibit on Sunday, where us model builders get to show our scale cars alongside the full size Concours entries. And Mike
Nice.
Garrett was part of our show this past year. Glad to have you as part of it, Mike. And
I enjoyed it immensely. It was
Hope
great.
you did. Good to hear. Yeah, we were thrilled to have you as part of
Awesome.
it. There's voids in the model car hobby all around, and you just have to step up as a local club and take those on where you see them, I think.
Yeah,
And you know,
definitely.
maybe this video will be one of those things that get that out. And Matt, maybe you can tag a link to some of the IPMS groups that are in the Midwest
Absolutely. Yeah,
or
definitely.
Central U.S.
Yeah, that's what we do this for. Definitely get people inspired. You know, if there's somebody out there thinking about it or some clubs thinking about it, maybe they're going, "Wow, yeah, we could really do this." And I didn't realize you were involved with a new NNL, Randy. That's definitely one I got to put on the list. I like that time of year too. Jeez.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a fun time of year.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
if I could
So
just get myself moved out there and just not have to worry about flying out there from here,
yeah, there's
we're
always
working
that.
on that soon. But hey, Tim, we got to roll to that. I'll come over to your house and bother you, and you and I can roll to that. What do you think?
Okay.
We've been trying to do that for a couple of years. Tim and I hooking up and go to a show together. Yeah, definitely.
Well, we'd love to have you all there. So
Oh boy, yeah, those are. I love the NNL. I love any type of model car show, and just getting together with now we've all become such good friends with the internet and knowing each other no matter where we live. It's neat to meet face to face at the shows. It's like even Mike came out here for a show. It was fun. Mike and I had a great time at a couple of years ago. He came out here to our local show, and that was a lot of fun meeting up with people that you talked to for a long time on the internet, and then finally getting to hang out. And that's where having shows all over the country is we can't let those die.
Right.
So if people take the time and put all this work into shows, get out there and support them by just showing up and entering a model. Stop worrying about, oh, I don't know if my model's good enough, or I don't know, the buddies, that whole thing. Oh, there's a buddy system. No, there isn't. There isn't. I've never
No,
seen that myself.
it's a great point. Support your local shows and
Support the
grow
shows.
from there, and try to take a trip or two every contest and car show season, and try to attend another event. You don't have to attend as many as Tim does, because I don't know how anybody does
I
that
don't think
many.
anybody does. I don't think.
True.
But at least try to get to one within a day's drive. Reach out a little bit and hit
Yeah,
some of
definitely.
those and see what they have to offer. So it's a great point, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way to send this one off, man. Guys, this was a great discussion. Let's get to work. Let's get that show happening.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yep.
Randy, thank you very much. It's good to
Yeah.
have you on.
Yeah,
Thank
you,
you
Mike.
all. My
Mike,
pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for Mike, Robert. Thanks joining up with the knuckleheads here.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're at the end of our Thanksgiving weekend, so some of the guys, again, like I said, couldn't show up, but I'm glad you guys made time for it. This was a neat discussion, and probably have you guys, all of you, come back on again. It's always fun. We got lots of other model car topics to talk about on this little thing we've got going, and I want to thank you all for watching us. Everyone, I will start again with Robert. Let's go around, say bye, and plug your thing, whatever you got going, if you got a thing to plug.
Well, like I said in the beginning, I am the questionable scale modeler, and I just want to, thank anybody that's listening, and don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone and go to a show that you don't know anybody there. That's how we meet each other, and don't be afraid to get on a plane and go to a show. It's a lot of fun because you get to experience whether or not your cars make it in one piece or not. 'Cause that
and you were successful because you came out here for 2 shows. You came here to Phoenix, and then you took a road trip to California for a
Yeah,
show on the
and I
same
brought
weekend.
9 models.
And they all
Wow.
made it back in
Uh,
one piece.
well, sort of.
Yeah, Mike.
Well, something was brought up here today that I think that we all should think about more than we do, and that's the tremendous amount of work that it takes to put on one of these events.
Yeah,
And I think we all owe a thank you to all those that put that work in, and maybe they don't get enough recognition. So,
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Great
definitely.
point.
Randy.
Yeah, thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Matt, for the opportunity to talk about this. This is a great topic. It's very appropriate where we find ourselves in the hobby right now, and something to continue to push as we move forward to try and find something to fill that GSL void. So thank you all.
Yes, definitely. Tim.
I'm going to miss GSL. We're going to look back on the GSL days as those were the good old days.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Hobby dude.
Well, thank you, Mark Batson, Hobby Do 007 on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, guys, for watching. And guys, thanks for joining in and giving us your thoughts on it.
Yeah, and definitely we want to hear what you have to say down in the comments below. Tell us what you think. We all get on there and look at it and like to read what you guys all have to say. We get a lot of our regular listeners now love to put in their little 2 cents, and we like reading it. So please get down there and man, tell everybody about the podcast. Tell everybody around that you might know who might be interested in putting on a show. We need some more shows. Do it. Just go for it. Make it happen. And keep on building model cars. Why? Why do we build model cars, guys?
Because it's fun.
It's
They're
fun.
fun.
That's right. All right. Well, here's the producers.
I can't figure out how to turn the camera.
It's okay. It looks fine from this.
Are you still headed back from Pennsylvania?
Yes, we are in North Carolina somewhere.
Whoa.
So I don't know how long I'll last on here.
There. It looks like you're traveling too with the background.
It does.
We'll go with that.
It's like we're all traveling in the back.
Yeah.
In outer space.
Where's our marker?
You didn't bring the
no.
marker, did you, Irvin? Okay, here you go. Mine's broken.
Mark's got one.
If it'll come out.
I got a ruler and a ruler.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Randy
Hey,
took
that'll
care.
work. All right, we're
Go ahead.
ready.
There you go. Official.
Ready. 3, 2.
Well, hello. No, I don't want to do that. How do I do this? Huh? You know me. It always takes me a bit to get going.